Welcome. So good to see you.
You too. It's always good to see you. And thank you for being accommodating today. Usually we record on a different day, but today there's a lot going on with the family. And so it needed to be on a different day, but it's still the same day that you all will still hear it. So no worries about that.
That's exactly right.
Hi, lovely. I'm Dr. Ambra Brown.
And I'm Tash Alvaro. Welcome to Two Single Mums and a Donor Daddy,
where two complete strangers are connected by choosing the same donor daddy. And now we're having real conversations about the journey to solo motherhood by choice.
And how to prepare for it mentally, physically, emotionally, and even intuitively, while creating the path to motherhood on your terms. Oh, the topic today is really talking about the role of, I don't want to say role, but just what many single women, and I should say single mothers, deal with in the sense of being in their hyper-masculine.
Yeah.
And I had a beautiful conversation with a girlfriend of mine, and she is a single mother herself, but through divorce. And we were talking about the topic of just single mothers in general and the roles that we play, as well as everything that we do, that we tend to be leaning more into our masculine energy opposed to our feminine. So for a lot of you, if you're not sure, that every human on the planet has masculine and feminine energies, and both definitely serve a purpose. And it doesn't mean that, just because you're a female, it's just all feminine energy. And just because you're a male doesn't mean it's all masculine energy. They both definitely serve a purpose, as long as they are actually in balance as well. And this was the discussion that we had, where a lot of single mothers, we tend to be in a higher percentage of sitting in our masculine energy. And so basically what I mean by that is, like, we are the decision makers, we are the breadwinners, we always balancing the finances, the emotional support of our children, the physical safety, all those bits and pieces, which are important, but it tends to be, what can tend to happen is that they start to turn into more a survival than we're adapting in that higher percentage than feeling balanced and sort of honing into our nurturing, loving, receiving side. We're always constantly giving, right? Giving support, giving finances, a lot of those things. So it was just really interesting how, and for a lot of us, we don't know how to ask for help, or it could also be leaning into the fact that we feel that we don't have the right support network around us. And what can that look like? And how can we create a support network to help lessen the load for us? And a prime example, my girlfriend was saying that she has a lovely platonic relationship with a male friend of hers. And once a month, they get together and they actually write out a list of all the things that she needs to get fixed around the house, or certain things in regards to the booking your car in for a service, certain maintenance around the house, insurance on cars, registration, all those bits and pieces that sometimes they're not at the forefront for us that we have to think about, because we have a tendency to think about the fact that we are getting the kids ready, they're fed, we've got food in the kitchen, is the house clean, the clothes dirty, is their uniform ready for school? And I had a prime example of it recently, that one of my split system air conditioning units in my house has stopped working. And I find that every time my father pops over, he's like, have you got it fixed yet? And then I'm like, no, because it's not at the forefront for me. It's not that it's not important. I honestly forget to make the phone call in order for the service person to come over to have a look at it and see what I need done. Because I'm too busy focusing on, I've got to get to work on time. I've got to get my child ready for school on time. I've got to take him to his sports on time. So sometimes those things we just don't remember to focus on. And it's not a bad thing, but we tend to push ourselves so much that we forget to actually stop and go, hang on, what is it that I need for myself and who can I actually fall on to assist me with these things? So I had a conversation with my father to say, I'm not expecting you to pay for any of these things, but if you could do me a huge favor and just call the company and make the booking. I work from home anyway, so it doesn't matter what day or time they can pop over. But if you could do that for me, then that takes a little bit of weight off your shoulders. Because I think, and I don't know about yourself, Amber, but I know that when I'm constantly on the go and thinking and what I've got to provide and what I've got to do, there are times that my body goes into overwhelm and I'm so exhausted that by the end of the day, when my son wants to sit with me on the couch, I've got nothing left to give. Yeah. And just don't have that opportunity to always fill up my cup. Now, I'm in the industry where I'm teaching women, especially mothers, how to fill up and nourish themselves, even just spending a few minutes a day of filling up our cup. But it's also how can we ask for help as well? And who is it that you can lean on moving forward to assist you? And it's having that conversation with, it could be family members, it could be friends, it could be work colleagues, just someone that you can have the conversation and to receive the support as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I was thinking too, as you were talking, and I know talking about single moms, whether it's by choice or by circumstances outside of the person's control, but also I was thinking too about my upbringing and that like my dad was working and coming home, but like my mom still had to play the masculine role as well, had to still do that because she was a fixer-upper. Like it didn't get fixed. It was up to her to fix. It was also making sure that you called the technician to come out and fix whatever it was, you know, it was always that. So I felt like too, for me, seeing that, I think that kind of passes on that energy. That's what we do. This is already like and also too, me personally, being a Virgo, I am always a go planner and doing all of these things. And if some of you might not be familiar with this, but I don't know all about it, but I do believe in like human design. In my human design chart, I'm a generator. So I'm always like generating this energy and giving. And then I feel uncomfortable or don't do it as much of the receiving. And so I am always that on the masculine side as well, the energy side of it all. And it's just hard at times to release that because you're so ingrained. For me, it is ingrained. Yes. And because I have made the decision to choose to become a single mom by choice, that part obviously intensified because it all falls on me. And so when there are people who are like wanting to help, it's like, oh no, I got this. Like it's fine. But in reality, my body is screaming on my brain. No, like you don't have this. You're drowning. You know. No,
but we don't want to admit it.
Right. Exactly. And so sometimes I think about this as an example of the beauty of having when your child is in school and you meet parents. And so I have like beautiful friends who I've met through my son's friends. And they're like, oh, no, we'll take Ashton. Like, we'll take him and don't worry about anything. You don't have to do anything. I've got this. And I'm like, are you sure? It feels foreign to me. But it's also when they take them and they do all these things, it feels good. But I'm also like, I feel guilty sometimes. And I feel like something's not right here, but it's perfectly fine. But it's just releasing that energy, allowing it to receive it and enjoy it, because as women, but single women too, especially, to just allow that to happen, allow it. And it feels good, because when I do feel guilty about it, I can't believe you're doing this for me. I didn't always feel worthy.
There it is. Yes.
I don't feel worthy. It's like, I can't believe you're doing this for me. Why are you doing this for me? And now, as time has gone on, I have been like, okay, here you go. Take him. I get to relax.
Yes.
On some aspects, I'm able to. There's some things that are not related to my son, but just other things in my life. Like recently with my family, my parents aging, it's like, I've talked about it, like church members are wanting to kind of help, but I'm like, oh, I got it. Or don't even know like what help I need to even like give it to them. And so then I just still take it on because I don't know, or I'm just like in my brain, like, okay, I still got it, you know? So I get it. It's just, we're so trained and we're so just to relinquish that, but it's so good for yourself and for your child or children to allow to have that balance. Or sometimes it's not always equal, 50-50, but to be able to make sure that some point that feminine energy comes to the forefront for the right situations. You know what I mean?
Correct.
And being aware. So I agree. It's a huge deal.
It is, absolutely. And I have to agree with you in the way that we were raised as well. And I think for myself, my father worked 7 days a week. So mum ran the household. So she knew what needed to be done. However, the way that my parents worked as well, it was like she knew what needed to be done. Dad made the phone calls or could reach out to family members that could do the work. So in a lot of that sense, there was certain balances. And even to this day, it's even with when they're organizing trips and all the rest of it, Dad goes, oh, your mother's got that down packed. Like, so I let her take care of that. There's certain things, and I can see the balance in their relationship, like how it works, and it works for them, and there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. And they do support each other really well, even with my dad doing certain sort of domestic things around the house. So in regards to our family dynamics, I think also being the eldest daughter as well, I grew up being given certain responsibilities that I don't even think that my parents were very aware of, kind of the expectations and the responsibilities that they're putting on a child's shoulders. There was this expectation of the eldest child and the responsibilities that you have towards your younger siblings as well, and just the expectations that your parents have in regards to that too. And like you were saying, there's this kind of level of guilt if you haven't done certain tasks by a certain way. And my mum was very particular with how she wanted things done around the house and ironing. So one of my roles was to iron. And even though I despised it, my mum was saying, you're so good at it. And I was like, I wasn't given a choice, but thanks. So I think there was that kind of dynamic as well. It's like I grew up in a household that there were these high expectations because I was the eldest child as well. So it was like you took on these responsibilities, even though they were never discussed. And I remember sort of if something wasn't done properly or if something happened with my younger siblings, I got the comment of, well, you should have known better. And I was like, what should I have known? It was like, so it's these expectations that parents had on us that were unbeknownst to us. Like there was like this unwritten rule, so to speak. And so I found that as I got older, yes, I have always been quite independent as a young person as well as I was growing up. So I was never afraid to leave the family home. I was never afraid to leave where I lived and explore what was out there for me as well. So like you said, so diving into becoming a single mother by choice, I was like, well, I'm fairly independent and I've done things by myself anyway. So a small part of me, like, how is this going to be any different, so to speak? However, I think because of this controlling behavior as well, when you become very hyper independent and you like things to be done a certain way. And when you do become a mum, and as your child gets older and starts to learn different things, when they're much younger, you still have the power, so to speak, to get things how you want done. They're still learning. They don't understand. Now they're at an age where you're trying to teach them and understand, and it's letting go of that control, which is super hard. And I know it's not, like we touched on before, it's not just single mothers. I think it's just mothers in general, right? There's certain parts of us that we can see how we want it to be. And it's like, how can we let go of that control, that it's not going to be exactly how we want it? And that, I think, sometimes is the way that we're raised as well, like the expectations, the outlook that we've got. So it is that struggle of the letting go and the nurturing side of it, and that mistakes are going to happen. If they don't make mistakes, they don't learn. It's that balance. And it's so hard when you've been in that controlling sort of masculine energy for such long periods. Letting go, like you said, asking for help, letting go, letting someone else take the lead. It's a foreign concept to us. And it's not that we are not craving that. It's difficult to let go and receive, because we're the one that's constantly giving. We're the ones that, well, if we're in control, nothing can go wrong.
Right.
Right? But what happens if it does go wrong? What's going to happen to us? You see, it's that side of it as well, as how can we allow things to let go? If it goes wrong, okay, what can we learn from that? Is our world honestly going to fall apart? Like that's, So if someone else comes in, say, hey, I've got this, is that so scary? So
it is.
Right? But why is it scary? This is the other thing. It's like, okay, is it because from past experiences, whether it's been in relationships, romantic relationships, relationships within family dynamics or friends, has someone let us down so badly? Are we so scared that to allow, is that going to happen again?
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's sometimes where we've got to go, okay, well, I've got myself. I have myself. So if it doesn't go to plan, like I've got me, I'm going to be safe. I'm going to be okay at the end of the day. And I suppose sometimes it's the real challenge is with children, right?
I want to pause for just a moment, because if any part of this conversation is resonating with you, I want you to know you're not alone. I'm currently building a mini course called Ready from Within, designed to help women slow down, reflect, and reconnect with themselves as they consider or even navigate solo motherhood. This isn't about rushing a decision. It's about building a strong inner foundation so you can trust yourself through the good, the hard, and everything in between. I've opened up a waitlist so you can be the first to know when it's ready. The link is in the show notes.
And recently I got back into the dating world, and I recently went on a date, and I found it super challenging not to reach for my purse. And it's not that I'm this big believer that we've got to pay half or anything like that. I was wanting the man to lead. I am looking for a man to lead. However, what it was for me is because I'm the leader in my little family unit, it was really difficult to not pull that out, like to pull my purse out of my bag. And the gentleman that I went on the date with, he was so lovely about it. And he goes, can you please put your purse away? He's like, I've got this. And I just felt myself go, okay, I can lean into this. I'm safe to lean into that softness side of it, the feminine side of it for me.
Right.
And that was very refreshing, but at the same time, it was very foreign as well.
Yeah. I know we're talking because we are two women who chose to become a mom on our own. And this topic, I think it speaks for all women who are going through this. You talked about dating, but it's also just men. And I'm not going to like rag on men, but I'm just saying like we are now where men are kind of pushing that masculinity or that masculine energy on us. It's like they're a lot of the receiving now, and we're having to like play that role and do more for them. Or also we're in the defense mode because we're not feeling safe enough to let our guard down.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot too. Like we're just kind of in that mode of like, it's hard to let our guard down because we're being let down by others. So it's hard to release and feel safe. So I think too, if we feel safe, then that helps us to bring our walls down so that we can allow ourselves in the dating world or just being with men, if that's what you choose to do, but also just in other aspects of our life, just letting our guard down and feel safe, having a friendship with someone and letting them do for you and just allowing that to happen and feel safe, having friendships that helps you to feel safe. People that you trust, family that you trust will allow us to feel comfortable to let our guard down and receive and feel good and not feel guilty about it. But I do think that we're a lot of times are on the defense, and it's hard to allow the energy to come in and receive, but feminine energy to come in and do what we're supposed to do. That's something I was thinking about.
I couldn't agree more. And it's so true. It's like being on the defense in regards to that. And I think men can pick up on that energy as well. Like they are very intuitive too. And that's, I was saying before, I think this is a real great opportunity to have these open conversations with the men in your life, whether it is your father, your brother, a friend, a partner, right? Even a neighbor, just having these conversations with them, just saying, if you are craving or really requiring support and assistance in certain parts of your life, having this open dialogue with them, you would be so surprised how willing they're like, of course, absolutely, I'll be here for you, whatever you need. And like I said, with my dad, he's 79. It's not like I'm expecting him to do all these things. I said to him, Dad, I still need you. I still need you. And you just watch them light up, right? He just kind of, his shoulders went back, his chest was puffed out. He's like, my daughter needs me. And I was like, yes, right? I still need you. Yes, I am this, like, I'm an adult now. I'm a mother. It's like, yes, I'm in my 50s, but it doesn't mean that I still don't need my dad, because there's going to be certain elements in my life that I need you. And I think as well, from a single mother's perspective, is he has this great relationship with my son, and it doesn't have to be every week, but just once a month that they get to do something together. They get to spend quality time together, because my son's at an age where he's really needing that male mentor in his life. So I'm very blessed that I have my father, that I have my brother here as well. And I've got some beautiful neighbors that live in my complex. Yeah, so even my neighbors who are just lovely and supportive and understanding, and they help us in certain different aspects of our life as well. So this is where you have the opportunity, I think, as a woman, to really allow yourself going, okay, what is it that I really need? So it allows me to soften. Where do I get to receive now? How do I get the opportunities to fill up my cup? And this is a great opportunity to sit there and to do some breathing exercises or meditate, or even write down exactly what it is that you need. And even write down the men that you feel that you can approach as well, or would like to have that type of relationship with, that you can go to them when you need support or assistance with whatever it is you need in your life. And there's nothing wrong with that. Because I think for a lot of us women, when we tend to be in the higher ratio of our masculine energy, it's not that our feminine energy isn't there. What it is it gets pushed aside. So we adapt. Like I said before, we have this tendency to adapt. And I think this is something that's just pretty incredible in regards to women in general, that we are just this, we can adapt accordingly. Now, it doesn't mean that it's always in the best interest of ourselves and our health. It just goes to show you just how powerful and resilient we really are.
Yeah.
But it can and it will come at a cost of our health, our mental health, our physical health, our spiritual health, all of that. So these are the questions that you've got to ask yourself. At what point do you need to get to that you start asking for help? And that's why we're having this discussion as well, is like we don't want you to get to the point of overwhelm or to the point of burnout. And I think so many women, and I know I'm speaking from experience as well, that I have experienced burnout. I have experienced overwhelm and high stress. This is what you have to understand, because it starts affecting all aspects of our life, the way we sleep, the way that we show up, the way we handle life, the way we handle ourselves, the way we handle when we speak with our children. How are you showing up? And this is why having these conversations and bringing it to the forefront, so you can go, I'm seeing this pattern within myself. Okay, I can understand. So what is it that I can do for myself to kind of step back, look at exactly everything, and then ask for help? And I think that's hard for a lot of us to do, is to ask for help. You have to understand the importance of it as well.
Yeah. You mentioned something a few minutes ago, and you know me, going back to like the writing it down. And I think, again, that's important. But when I mentioned that, like, I felt guilty or it was hard to let go, you're writing that down and you're feeling that way. Like, again, you're good about teaching this, but how does your body feel about that? How does your nervous system feel? Do you feel tension when you're asking yourself that question, and really digging deep and knowing, like, trying to help you figure out why you feel that way, or immediately just kind of noticing the feelings and then later going in and just diving into that. But I know I mentioned I felt it's hard to surrender. And for me, I know it's because it's not going to be done the way that I would want it to be done. The control aspect.
Yes.
Or sometimes one of my parents, like, I bond with, and they take my son, and I'm just like, I feel initially like, what am I going to do when he's gone? Because I'm used to
What do I do?
What do I do? Because I'm used to him being with me. And that's also like a fear of, like, not being alone. Well, I guess it is. Not that I'm afraid to be alone, but like really sitting with yourself and enjoying yourself. That's the thing. Just loving yourself and being with yourself and just honoring who you are. That could kind of be a scary thing. Like, okay, now I'm here. I can get some stuff doing, like the laundry, which we do. Well, now that he's gone, I think but maybe at some time, like, sitting down and taking like that hour or whatever to be like, this is my time while my son or my child is out, to really just reflect on me and really hone in taking care of me, and not like the laundry, because the laundry is going to be there, but really focusing on me and helping myself to receive and having a safe space for myself to enjoy the moments of being by myself. So that's important too. And so I think that just really sitting down and writing it out, like asking those questions and honoring how you're feeling, but also what can you do about those things? And I think a great one, again, is if you're having someone come and take the responsibility away from you for a moment and allowing yourself to feel vulnerable and just being you in that time.
Absolutely.
I think is really important. So that's what I wanted to say on that, because I know my triggers. I just need to continue to work on that. And it's okay to just enjoy you, receive you, love you in that moment when you are getting the help or getting that support, and not trying to rush to do all these other things in the meantime.
Oh, yes. I feel that so much. And I think for a lot of us, and I know for myself, it's a real struggle to spend that quality time with yourself. Can you sit in the quiet and just be there with the noise, right? The constant sort of wheel that's turning in our head. And this is something that I had to really think about recently. My parents had my son the other night, and an opportunity had come up for me to attend a meditation class. And I haven't done anything like that for myself for a long time. And so when I went to it, this was the first meditation, and it was a group meditation that I ever been part of, that it was completely in silence. So there was no guiding whatsoever. There was no music. And what was really great about this as well is like, we want you to be with what is there for you right now. And you would hear noises outside of you, and it's like, are you finding yourself focusing on the noise? Where is that noise? And those sorts of things. So that was such a foreign concept, but at the same time, I got so much out of it as well. So I invite you today, if you can, and look, if your kids are around, I understand that. But if you have an opportunity, even if it's 5 minutes, to sit with what's there for you. So go to your bedroom, go outside, and just focus on the sensations in your body. If you have thoughts come up, great. Okay, let the thought go and then come back to just your breathing. Take in the sounds around you. Do you hear birds? Do you hear traffic? What is it you hear? But just allow yourself to be in that present moment. And I wanted to share something really quickly with you all, that my girlfriend who I had the discussion with about the masculine and the feminine energy. And to me, this is just pure poetry. This woman, I swear, she's not from this planet. And I absolutely love the way she sees things. It's beautiful. Shout out Fiona. So I'm just going to read this to you before we finish up today. She's called it the disparity of feminine and masculine energy in the life of a single mum. There's a particular kind of strength that grows in a woman who has no choice but to be both soft and unbreakable at the same time. Single mums live in that duality every day. They carry the weight of two energies, masculine and feminine, often without the luxury of leaning fully into either one. The masculine energy, she's forced to master masculine energy, is the doing, the driving, the deciding. It's the part of life that demands structure, logic, and action. A single mum knows this energy intimately. She is the provider, the planner, the protector. She makes the decisions, big and small, because no one else is there to share the load. She becomes the disciplinarian and the stability. She learns to be the one who fixes things emotionally, financially, practically. This energy keeps the household running. It keeps the bills paid. It keeps the children safe. But it also comes at a cost. The feminine energy, that gets buried. Feminine energy is the receiving, the resting, the feeling. It's intuition, softness, creativity, and connection. It's the part of her that wants to exhale. But when you're a single mum, feminine energy often becomes a luxury. There's no space to fall apart. There's no partner to lean on. There's no one to hand the reins to when she's exhausted. There's rarely time for pleasure, play, or stillness. Her feminine energy doesn't disappear. It simply gets pushed to the back of the queue, waiting for a moment that rarely comes. The disparity, living in one energy while longing for the other. The imbalance isn't a flaw in her. It's a consequence of her reality. She becomes so practiced in masculine energy that it can feel like she's forgotten how to soften. She becomes so used to being the strong one that vulnerability feels unsafe. She becomes so accustomed to giving that receiving feels foreign. This disparity creates a quiet ache, a longing to be held instead of holding everything together, a desire to be supported instead of always supporting, a wish to be able to rest without the world collapsing. The truth beneath it all, a single mum doesn't lack feminine energy. She lacks the conditions that allow it to flourish. Her softness is still there. Her intuition is still there. Her sensuality, her creativity, and her emotional depth, they're all intact. They're simply waiting for moments where she can breathe, reclaiming balance, even in small ways. She may not have the luxury of handing over the masculine responsibilities, but she can still carve out pockets of feminine energy, a slow morning ritual, a moment of silence before the day begins, a creative outlet, a walk without rushing, a conversation where she's allowed to be honest, a boundary that protects her peace. These small acts don't erase the disparity, but they remind her that she is more than the roles she's forced to play. A final truth. A single mum who does it all is not split between two energies. She is expanded by them. She embodies resilience and tenderness. She is both the anchor and the ocean. She is the structure and the softness. She is the force that keeps life moving and the heart that keeps it meaningful. And even when the balance feels impossible, she remains a whole woman, powerful, complex, and deeply worthy of support, rest, and love. I just wanted to share that with you all. I just found it so powerful and it just speaks volumes. It really does.
Absolutely. That's really good. Like, I felt exhausted from how she's explaining that. And I'm thinking that is me, and I am actually exhausted, but I try, and I think we all try to find a moment to just bring in that feminine energy, like come bring it forward. So that's what I was saying, like finding a moment to do so and then not having it be a luxury. It's just what it is. It's part of who we are. So I love that. That was so good. Thanks for sharing that. That was good. Thanks.
Oh, you're so welcome. I was like, it's too good not to share. It was just absolutely beautiful. And I will finish on this note that please let this be a reminder to carve in. And I know it's not always easy, but just a few minutes a day. Like first thing in the morning, as soon as you open your eyes, instead of grabbing your phone, just sit there and be in the quiet before your day starts. Just allow these moments, these little pockets of time until you can create more and more of it. I really encourage you. Yeah. I want to thank you so much for your time today. It's been an absolute pleasure. I could go on and on with this conversation.
Thank you for sharing. This was great. I loved it. I loved it.
Well, thank you. And for those of you who are either, please comment, contact us. You can put comments below in YouTube. You can also follow us on Spotify and hear us through that way. And you can reach out to us via our email as well as on our social media. Like anyway, anything you have to share, please feel free. And if this has resonated with you, or if you know of someone that you think they would receive so much out of this, please share it. It would mean the absolute world to us.
Yes. And don't forget to rate us, because the more you rate us, the more you push us out there in the algorithm to share so many more stories and helpful information to guide whoever may need this. So please remember to rate us. We thank you so, so much for listening. And if you're on YouTube, for watching.
Thanks again. Have an amazing day. Can't wait to see you all soon. Bye.